way to graph y equals mx plus b. Y has to be by itself. Then yesterday we learned m, or the number in front of x, is your slope, and b is your y-intercept. Okay? M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. Okay? So yesterday it was just graphing one line on the graph. Today we're going to have a system of equations, which we're going to graph two lines. And we have to find the point of intersection, or the point that they cross. Okay, so we're graph two lines. Today you want to put as many points on your graph as you possibly can to make sure that your line is super accurate. So let's go down here to number 1. Take the first equation. Y equals negative 2x minus 3. Is y by itself? Yes. What's my slope? Careful. Negative 2 over 1. And your y-intercept is negative 3. Look at the top equation. Okay, so let's graph this. Where do we start? Start at negative 3. On this axis, we're going to start at negative 3, right here. What does a slope of negative 2 over 1 tell me? Go down because it's negative. And then when we say over, which way do we go? To the right, always towards Hoosier. Okay, so from this point, go down to right 1. You're on the edge of the graph, correct? Take your ruler, ever so carefully, be as accurate as you possibly can. Don't just wing it. Don't just wing it. You need to connect those two. You need your line to go all the way through your graph. Don't just connect the two dots. Go all the way through the graph and put arrows on the ends. That's just like yesterday, agreed? Yeah. Okay, so the new part is take the second equation. Y equals 2x plus 5. Y is already by itself. What's my slope? 2 over 1. What's my y-intercept? 5. So we got to start at 5. Ooh, this might be a bad one. Why is this bad, Marilyn? Yeah, and what's our slope tell us to do? Go up and to the... And can I do that? No. Okay, so instead of going up, to, and right to, let's do the opposite of both. Go down to and left. Oops, not 2. This should be a 1. I'm sorry. So instead of going up and to the right, let's do the opposite. Down to left 1. Put a dot. Let's do it again. Down to left 1. What happens? Did yours cross your other line right there? It should have. If you drew this red, what I have as a red line accurately, your point should have crossed here. Take your ruler and draw your line. That second line in there. The whole purpose of this is to figure out what that ordered pair is. Our answer is going to be an x comma y. Now remember, x is this way, y is this way. So if I'm trying to get to this point, everybody think before you shout. What is my x? What is my y? Somebody raise your hand. Tone, what you got? 1 and 1. 1 and 1 would be here. Remember, Zayden? Negative 2. And then, which would be what? Positive 1, right? So you would be at negative 2, positive 1. Negative 2, positive 1. It is crucial that you're graphing accurately. That's why we spent our day yesterday just working on graphing. Okay. Let's try this again. Y equals x minus 1. Y is by itself. What's your problem, Marilyn? There's no number in front of there. When there's not a number, what number do they really want there? They want a 1. If it's a 0, they won't write it, okay? So remember, this is like having a 1 in front of here. So my slope is 1 over 1. My y-intercept is -1. So if I'm going to graph this, I start at -1, and I do what? Up 1, and when you say over, Addie, which direction are you talking? Right, towards Hoosier's room. Put as many points on that graph as you possibly can. Hmm?
Mine is mine.
Well, you didn't connect the dots. We're way past that.
I'm still doing it.
So we're going to take this all the way through your graph. I would go as many times as you possibly can.
Oh, you have to do it going down too?
For me, because I could go up and to the right, I can make a pretty accurate graph. Technically, you could, though. It's not going to hurt you to do it that way. Okay, let's take the second equation. Y is by itself. What's my slope? 2 over 1. What's my y-intercept? -2. So I start at -2, which is down here. What does my slope of 2 over 1 tell me? Up 2 and right 1. So from your dot down here, up 2, right 1. Oh, I feel like they intersected already, didn't they? Up 2, right 1. I always go a second one just because. And you end up with a line like this. And they crossed right here. Okay, this is what I mean. You should already have this done. We're done with number 2 almost. You haven't even written a thing down. Okay, on your own, we got to be cautious here. Zayden helped us out on the last one. X comma Y. X is left and right. Y is up or down. If I start at 0, 0, how do I get to that point where they meet? Right 1. So is that a positive 1 or a negative 1? Positive 1. Then do I go up or down? Down? To get to this point? I went right 1. Do I need to go up or down? No. So what's my number, Liana? 0. Very good. 1, 0. 1, 0. Okay. Flip it over. Number 3. Take the top one. Y equals 4x. What's my slope? 4 over 1. What's my y-intercept? 0. Nicely done. Remember yesterday where there was nothing added there? Okay, so where am I starting? 0, 0, right at my origin. Very good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4, and then what tone? Very good. Use your ruler. Connect those 2 dots. Start at 0, 0, and then go up 4, right 1. Your line should always look better than mine. Your line should always look better than mine. Is it what? Oh, that's fine. Okay, so let's take our second equation. What's my slope? Oop, careful. Stay on number 3. Nope, you're okay right here, this one. What's my slope? 1 over 1. What's my y-intercept? 3. So I start at 3. And with a slope of 1 over 1, what do I do? Up 1, right 1. What happened? We already crossed there, right? Up 1, right 1 again, just because. If you do not have 2 lines drawn, you have not finished these problems. Every single graph has 2 lines drawn on it. Every single graph has 2 lines drawn on it. Then I want everybody to write down your x comma y of that point. Everybody on your own. If I start at 0, 0, which way do I go? Which way do I go? Okay. I want everybody to think first before you say it. Okay? You should have it on your paper. Okay? If you're here and you're trying to get to the blue highlighted, okay, I'm not going to let Tone answer this because I know he's going to get this right. Courtney, what is the point of that? Okay. Okay, so if I go 2, 4, I go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys, when you put your pencil right here, you have not counted anything. That's a 0. So how far to the right do I need to go? Just 1. Just 1. Don't count where you set your pencil down. Don't count where you set your pencil down. Bryce. Very good. X is 1, Y is 4. Okay, go to the right. Don't go down, go to the right. Number 4, the first equation, y equals 2x plus 1. Nobody say it out loud. Everybody write your slope. Everybody write your y-intercept. We're going to number 4. I know some of you are already there. That's okay. Be patient with me. Everybody write your slope. Everybody write your y-intercept.
What's your slope and what's your y-intercept?
Tegan, what's your slope on this one? Very good. 2 technically over 1, right? Always write it as a fraction. And Sam, what's your y-intercept on this one? 1. Very good. Okay. So to graph this, we start at 1. Put your dot at 1. And then what does your slope tell you to do? Up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. I have space for all 3 of those. Take your ruler, connect those dots. Okay, so now I'm going to take the second equation here. Y equals 2x minus 3. Everybody on your own, without saying anything out loud, write down your slope, write down your y-intercept. Write down your slope, write down your y-intercept. Haley, what'd you write down for your slope? 2 over 1, nicely done. And Sarah, what'd you write for your y-intercept? -3. Just hold on one second. Okay, so I'm going to start at -3. And what's it tell me to do? Jack? Very good. Could I do it again? Do I have space to do it again?
Yep.
Do I have space to do it again? Yep. Do I have space to do it again? Miss Hoff, what's supposed to happen here? What is supposed to happen though, Tone?
They're
They're supposed to intersect, but they don't, right? Tone, what type of lines are these?
parallel.
They're parallel. How do you know that?
They're right next to each
Okay, but what if I just screwed up on the graphing? What's another way I would know that they're parallel?
other because they're not.
They don't touch, Haley? By looking at your slope, right? Your slope is identical. So if one person starts at -3 and one person starts at 1, and every time they both go up 2, right 1, and then they went up 2 and right 1, and up 2 and right 1, they're never going to cross. So in this case, Tone is 100% correct. The answer to this is no solution. Sometimes you're going to have lines that are parallel. You're going to have lines that are parallel, and you know that because your slopes were the same. You know it's no solution. Okay, number 5. Miss Hoff's not going to say a word. Everybody take the time. Just graph the top one. Find your slope, find your y-intercept, graph them, and then wait patiently. Just do the top one. Write down your slope, write down your y-intercept, and graph it. Addison, what's my slope? What's your slope? You got to know it. You do? Yeah, if you graphed it, you had to know it. What is your slope then? How did you know what to do? Okay, so your slope is 2 over 1, and your y-intercept is 1. Very good. So you started at 1. She said I went up 1, and that's where I started. And then my slope tells me to go up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. So your line should look like so. Okay. Question, Courtney? You're going to answer something already? You good? Okay, so on that second equation, what's different about this? Okay, y is not by itself. There's this extra 3 in here. And technically, it's a -3. How do I get y by itself? Okay, right now it's a -3. So I'm going to have to do the opposite, which is a +3. I got to get y by itself by adding 3 to the other side. When I do that, y equals, I'm going to drag down my 2x, -2 plus 3. Courtney? -2 plus 3. If I'm on a number line, I'm at -2. And when I add, which direction do I go? 1, 2, 3. Where am I? +1. What's my slope? Careful. +2 over 1. My y-intercept is 1. What, Addison? What'd you say? Is it the same thing? Look at your slopes are identical. Your y-intercept. So if I technically was going to go graph this, I'm going to put a point here. I'm going to go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. What's going to happen? It's the same exact line. So the answer to this one is infinite solutions. Infinite means they never end, because every point on the black line matches up with every point on the red line. Infinite solutions. I have a question for you. You have some open space. I just put my work there, but you have some open space on that lower right-hand corner.
Yeah.
Write this equation down once.
Oh, Lord.
Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. Everybody take a minute. Write for me, what is the slope? What is the y-intercept? Y equals negative 2/3 x plus 5. Liana, what's my slope? Very good. And Allison, what's my y-intercept? 5. Nicely done. I want to show you this because we haven't had a slope that's a fraction like this. Everything else was 2/1.
Yeah.
Okay, remember, your negative sticks with the top. So if I have a -2, what's that tell me to do? Go down 2, but we always go right towards Hoosier 3. So if you have a fraction with two different numbers instead of just 2/1 or 3/1, remember, you're still talking rise over run. Okay, I'm going to hand out this worksheet. There's 3 blanks we need to fill in before you get to start your homework. There's 3 blanks right at the top before we start your homework. Okay. The graph of a system of equations indicates the number of solutions. So this summarizes everything we just did. If the line intersects, there is one solution. When our lines crossed, that gave us one solution. If your lines are parallel, there is no solution. No solution because those lines never cross. If the lines are the same, there is infinite solutions. So if you end up with lines crossing, you got to give me the x comma y location. If they're parallel, you say no solution. If they're the same line, then you say infinite solutions. Okay? Before you get to ask for help, you have to have attempted to graph it. If your lines don't cross at a perfect point, go back because something is wrong. The rest of the hour is yours to work. This needs to be done before class starts tomorrow.